Yeah, I mean, obviously he's a guy that we had, a background on with Coach Lockman, coaching him before. So a guy we were familiar with, and once he became available, so a guy that we thought could help our roster and benefit us.
And now that you can talk about Chase, just what do you hope he brings as a grad transfer, obviously played in the league and in-state guy?
Yeah, I think this place means a little bit to Chase. You can see that he's intelligent. Like you said, he has experience. So certainly excited to see what he can do out there.
Justice is also new to this team. Florence as well. Just what can those guys do? What are the expectations for a freshman mid-team?
You don't set expectations. You go, one day at a time. Today was one day, and we still got to watch the film. Obviously, walking off here, I'm sure it was spinning a little bit for him today, as you think it would be first day. But I don't want to set it too high or set it too low. They're going to set the level of their expectation by the way they perform and the way they practice day in and day out.
For the veterans, first day back after a couple weeks off, what do you think of how everybody handled that?
Yeah, I thought there was some juice. I thought we could have had another level of juice. I want to see it take it to another level. The intensity there, the focus is there, but we have to push ourselves in practice to be the best that we want to be, and I think we can take it up a notch. I was hoping for a little bit more.
Is JJ Greenfield back with the team?
Yeah, he was out there today.
We saw him. What was the process of getting it? I know he was on last year's roster, but he's not on this year's.
Yeah, I mean he's gone through his own process, and been in the area. He's going to school here. He's got wanted an opportunity to come back. He wanted an opportunity to see what he can do.
We'll get an update from you about Don Johnson, who was assigned to last night. It sounds like things are in a positive direction. Share an update.
Yeah, I think as we know right now with Don, it's still very serious. It's still a very serious deal, but things are trending in a way that you're very hopeful. I think thoughts and prayers are continued, and we got to keep hoping for the best.
Play some guys on staff with the league and Brett moving on. If you figured out how you're going to be in those spots.
Yeah, we always have a plan kind of for what's next. It's not really a stumble deal. It's next man up. We usually have a good idea where we want to go.
You've said before how important position flexibility is. With the young guys, is that something you start them out with, or do you kind of want to let them get used to college ball a little bit and avoid that overload?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, at the end of the day, for us, each guy's a little bit different, right? How fast do they pick it up? Are they drinking out of a water hose, or do they have it figured out? And we're going to give them as much as they can handle. So if he's able to handle multiple positions coming in, then we want to be able to do that.
Where do Harrison and Devin fit?
They're working an inside linebacker for us right now, learning both the money and the mat. That's when we talk about position versatility, it's not going to be stuck on one or the other. It's the ability to kind of do both.
Coach, obviously Bo Nix is a guy that you've gone against 3 times. You've obviously spent a tremendous amount of time thinking about him, game planning against him. Just curious how your perception of him as a player, as a person, has maybe changed now that you've had some time to work with him more hands-on.
Bo's really what I thought he was. He's, extreme competitor, super smart. He works really hard at it, and I think he's really intentional. I think he would tell you he has a lot of things he can get better at, and I certainly agree. There's a lot of things that he can improve on, but he's attacking those every day, so I'm pleased to see that.
What do you want to see from the quarterbacks as a group, both this week and heading into the first scrimmage from Saturday, so the next 5-6 practices?
Certainly one positive today is the offense had some explosive plays out there, which was exciting. On the same note, we also had some turnovers that I didn't want to see. Right, I thought we could have been a little bit better in our 2-minute scenario there at the end of practice with our offense and the operation there. So good job on the explosive plays. We want to take care of the ball going forward.
Coach Jalil, one of those early enrollees in the DBs, with such a young quarterback room, what kind of steps are you kind of hoping to see from that group in the spring?
Yeah, I mean, we want to throw them in there early, let them get some experience, and see how they take. I'm not a big believer in having guys learn and watch from the sideline. You want to be able to get mental reps when you can, but you can do that by getting reps. So we're going to throw those guys out on the field, coach them as we go. If there's things we can improve on, that's what we want to focus on.
How much does that help bring a guy with Christian into that room?
Yeah, I mean, having Christian here, obviously, coach's familiarity with Christian is certainly a benefit as well. And I think it shows up on the field, his experience when he's used. But there's a lot of things he's still learning. This is a different system for him, certainly a different process for him, and some stuff that he can improve. But having Christian here is certainly a good for all players.
Walking off practice, what's the first thing you want to watch on film? You mentioned you haven't watched film yet, so what's that first thing you want?
I'm always checking for efficiency. I'm always just want to see how can we be better and more efficient in practice, talking about our players and our coaches, and then effort. Right? There's a lot of things, you can draw up a lot of things on the board, a lot of X's and O's, and the reality is none of that matters if you're not playing hard. We want to make sure our guys are playing fast and playing hard.
Is anybody who's caught your eye so far immediately check over the ball? Just kind of that guy every day?
I don't think so, not yet. I mean, we've had 2 pads without practice. We've had, 2 practices without pads, right? 1 padded practice so far. I think it's really too early to certainly crown anybody, and every one of our guys, I think, and coaches still have a lot of improvement.
How do you think the culture, how are you establishing that? I guess it was a 17-day break. I know people are all over the place, but was it something during, I mean, how are you maximizing extra time in terms of instilling?
Yeah, just as much time as we can be around our players as possible. You know, I think we try to take an invested interest in our guys, and our guys are doing a great job. I mean, that's a two-way street, right? They have to be interested in being in, and we have to be interested in having them involved, and they've done a great job at that, and so have our coaches.
Going back to when you were assembling your staff, obviously Tosh was finishing up the NFL season, so it took longer there from that aspect. Knowing him as you do, how did you see him evolve as a coach after 3 years in the NFL, where obviously he was really successful at numerous different stops at Alabama, certainly? How did that NFL experience, how did you see that NFL experience change him?
I mean, ultimately, you look at the guys that he's coached in the NFL and the success that those guys individually have had. His defensive lines have been really good wherever he's been. But I love the fact that Tosh has been exposed to a lot of different systems and been able to carry some of those best things to our place here. You know, and we're going to integrate. We're going to do a lot of what we do and what I'm familiar with and what Tosh is familiar with. But at the same time, taking what he's learned in those last few stops in the NFL is super beneficial to our players.
I was going to say, simulated pressure in particular being something that you've certainly done, and Matt's done a lot of, that Tosh was not doing while he was there, but even now seeing this offseason that Nick is bringing Dave in for their clinic, and that's clearly going to be something they're doing. Do you feel like that you were at the forefront of that and that movement within the sport?
I mean, I'm a big believer in it. I think it makes you certainly successful, the simulated pressure piece. But if it's all you do, there's a way to attack it, just like anything on defense. So we have to be multiple. That's certainly that exposure for us is good. It won't be the only thing that we do. And he's familiar with it. He did some of that before in places he's been, so it's not, completely new to him. But it's something we will definitely carry.
You mentioned doing 2-minute draw. How often do you do that this month, where just a period or two in practice, you cut it loose and kind of play football?
Yeah, we're going to try to create situations in practice a lot, right? And today was 2-minute. It's something we can coach off of. We had a lot of 3rd and long emphasis today in practice, right? But we're going to try to create situations because we want to model the game as much as possible within practice, and then coach those situations on film.
You're going to said you're going to emphasize special teams more, and the scrimmages themselves are probably a week from Saturday. Are you going to stuff like that?
Oh, we're doing special teams every day. It's the first thing we do from flex. So I don't know if you guys are getting out there in time to see that or not, but the very first thing we do from flex period is going to special teams, and that's part of the emphasis there for us there. I think the place that we're different is how we do special teams. We break it down into more of an individual mode in a lot of our drill work, and we're still getting several special teams periods within practice as well beyond that period you see.
That's one of the things that was previously stumble down was one of the first things, and that's such an iconic thing where you've been before. Is that still part of the thing, or is that just not something that Joe does?
Oh, it's a huge piece of the equation for us. You're talking about stumble bar in particular?
Yeah.
Oh, we did that day one.
Okay.
Yeah, we've done that. That's a piece of something we've carried, but that's certainly not the only thing. If we go out there and do stumble bum all practice, we're gonna have a lot of other things we got to work on.
Joe, where you'd been the save the block technique on special teams particularly was the core principle. Joe does, from my understanding, strictly paint. It's a little bit different in terms of it's not hands-on. What's your thoughts on how what you're looking to do will be what Joe looks to do with that on special teams on returns and that method versus the save the block?
Joe has a great understanding of exactly what I want from a special team standpoint. At the end of the day, we want to own the ball. We want to make sure we have no penalties, right, and put ourselves in the best position to score. We're going to create explosive plays on special teams. We're going to try to be dynamic on special teams. There's a lot of different techniques we coach within each phase of that. But the key is you put an emphasis on it, right? You're not going to be successful on it if you don't spend time on it.
With Friday being pro day, I know these are obviously players you inherited, you have a chance to coach, but it's always a big day for a program and a big opportunity, and you have a top 10 projected guy going to be here and stuff. And players, Thomas, what are you hoping to see from these guys on pro day and what that opportunity?
Well, I'm just proud that they're coming here to represent Oregon, and I'm excited that the teams that are coming here to see players that played at the University of Oregon. Obviously, this is a place where you can do it all, and the pro day is going to be, a great culmination for that opportunity for these guys that came and played here.
Following up, is JJ on scholarship then, or is that something you can share?
No, he's not.
Has Eugene felt more like home to you, and what have you liked about this town so far?
I mean, I love being outside right now. I love the environment, the culture, that we have, and the alignment from top to bottom is obviously really special to me. I think that's something that's unique here. We have a true vision. I enjoy looking over and seeing our athletic director at practice, seeing people that care about the program at practice. that certainly matters to me, you know, and our players, I think we have an opportunity to coach some of the best and attract some of the best here at our program. And I think you see that with the way we operate. But certainly a lot of room to improvement. First day of school yesterday for my young guys, so that was fun for them. They're loving Eugene. My wife's loving Eugene, so this has been a real blessing for us.
Thank you, Coach.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.